And welcome back to the Press Star Podcast. I'm your host, Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin'. This is episode number 64. Of course, I'm joined by my co host, Lunatic Oblivion.
Hey guys, welcome back to our live viewers and those checking you out us on recording later. It's a wonderful week again, man. It's October, birthday today.
Yes,
We
sir.
got partied on Friday. We got Scorn came out last week. A bunch of games coming out this week, dude. We're in the thick of it right now.
Yeah, into the thick of it. Yeah, nah, for sure. Happy birthday, though, for sure. Got mine coming up here 12 days later. So I'm really excited for that because, of course, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 drops on that day. So, of course, I'm excited.
So Vic, talking about playing some cool games. What have you been playing?
Um, so I've been playing a whole bunch of
What's
games, honestly.
What is the big one this week that you played? Like, if you had to choose one game.
And that's tough. I'm torn between two. Obviously, Scorn you just talked about, and obviously, and the other one is my Metal Hellsinger. So they both been a lot of fun lately. Scorn though is interesting. It's different than what I anticipated. It's definitely I thought it was gonna be like more action to it, more shooting and stuff like that. But it's really like less about it. It's legit a puzzle game just set in a very gruesome world.
Yeah, it's like an atmospheric horror game. That's
Yeah.
what I would describe it as. While playing it, I just thought to myself, this is Amnesia: The Dark Descent with guns. Like, I'm sitting here, like, I barely have anything to defend myself with. Most of the times, I'm just running. I need to get the fuck away.
Right.
Like, the first time I saw one of those, like, I don't know. Have you seen
Yeah.
the final enemy you can meet?
Yeah.
Those guys that look like giant camel looking things?
Yeah.
No.
Those things are weird.
Those fucking things are nuts, dude. Like I walked up to one and I had like the punch-o-matic thing, and I'm just like, whoosh, whoosh. All right, that's two. Let's see how many it takes. Four more later, I'm like, why aren't you dead? Please die.
Right. And like if you don't pay attention to your health and you run in there with like 1 or 2 HP, you're just like
Yeah, dude.
instant death. And I'm like, fuck. Yeah, I was stuck at a
And
certain part just trying to get past one of those things, and it was like going down a
yeah.
hallway, and I was like, well, how do I kill this thing without dying?
Well, the first enemies, like I didn't realize it at first. I walked up, I was like, okay, what's he gonna do? And he's just like and vomits on me, and I'm like, what the fuck? Game.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the enemies in that were so nuts. And like I didn't, all you have is a punch-o-matic thing, and you're like two hits, and they're just like, you about to get barfed on, bro.
Right.
I'm like, wait, what the fuck you mean?
Yeah, I'm at the
So
point where
then
you get your the first pistol or whatever, and you gotta like load the bullets in that you're very
and you got the
limited on.
6 shots. Well, the big guys that charge you or whatever, like they're a little bit right after. Like you fight one or two of those. I think maybe, sorry, three of those, then you get the final gun. Because like if you notice the little thing you're carrying that has the health and shit,
Hmm.
like I was I was like three or four enemies deep by the time I realized that there was a thing I had to find to heal myself. I'm like,
Yep.
what the fuck is this thing? And
Right.
I'm like, what do I do? And then I see one of the stations and I pop it in and I was like, oh, three health. That's it. Like,
Yeah, I didn't even know you can heal yourself in a game to a certain point. I was like, bro, how do you heal yourself? And like I went to the controls and
yeah.
I was like, oh, you press this button, you can heal yourself. And I was like, okay, that makes
And
sense.
I hit it and I was like, I keep hitting E before I knew I had consumables. And like, oh, the
Yeah,
shit in that game was nutty, dude. But
yeah,
like, honestly, it was an okay game.
yeah.
I thought,
I'm not done
I
with it
can't
yet.
wait to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah, when you next week when you finish the game, I want to know what you think of it. Because honestly, it was okay to me. It wasn't like, whoa. It wasn't
yeah.
what I wanted it to be, but it was not bad.
Right. I think
I
it's
felt.
it's it's sticking to what it's trying to be, and it's not trying to go over the top, and it's kind of sticking to what it's always been wanting to be, and without
Mhm.
people knowing. So that's awesome. But what else have you been playing this week? I know you have a big list here.
Well, this week, so I've been sticking with my staples of Splatoon, Overwatch, and Valorant, keeping in three different shooter style games lately. But I tried Overwatch 2 ranked this week, and that shit was Sweat City. Um, my casual games, I had to pay my dues to my stream who paid for the Barbie Horse Adventure. So I played Barbie Horse Adventure this week, and honestly, it was one of my biggest streams, no lie. I ain't here to joke. Like people showed up and we memed the whole game, but like I played that, and then Scorn I beat. I beat
Hmm.
in a day, and I was like, wow, that is that it? Is that the bad ending? Is that the only ending? And I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
But like, it, it's such an interesting game. But I'm looking to pick up a Plague Tale this week. That's what excites me.
Hmm.
So Vic, this week we got some cool games coming out.
Hey, I didn't
We've got
finish
a
my
Plague
list on
Tale.
here.
Oh, you didn't finish your list. I'm sorry. Go
How
ahead.
dare you?
What
We
else
can't
you
we
got?
we
Well,
can't.
I'm sorry. Metal Hellsinger and Scorn.
Yeah,
What else you got
those were my
playing?
two big ones, and Metal Hellsinger.
Yeah.
I highly recommend go playing that. But I beat You Suck at Parking. I beat all the levels. There's like
Okay, you beat it.
yeah, there's like expert levels that you can only unlock is if you like perfect certain other levels, then you unlock them. And I was like,
Did you beat them?
I'm not doing
Okay.
those. Like that's just like extra shit that if you really want to go into this, like I already drove myself crazy trying to beat the level, but perfect the level, not gonna happen.
Nah.
Because you have to park in like each level has like three spots that you have to park in, and you have to park in all three of them without dying, like blowing your car blowing up once. And I was like, no, not happening because I already know I blow up 1,000 times per level. But yeah, Warzone, man, Warzone. We got some practice in last night. Interesting enough, we caught three dubs, and I came in clutch in two of them. Got the final kill, and it was just crazy last night. I was It was really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to this upcoming Call of Duty season. But yeah,
Mhm.
those are all my games. Obviously, we played a little bit of Grounded today, and I'm still having mixed feelings on that game. But yeah, man, let's dive into the upcoming game releases, though.
All right, so let's just start the first one we talked about
Yeah.
because I was talking about those story games. A Plague Tale Requiem. It finally drops this week. We got that. It's on the PlayStation 5, it's on the X and S, Switch, and PC. We're not on last gen, baby.
Thank
We're ready.
goodness. Y-
Well, Switch, but like, it's gonna be dumbed down. I think Switch it's cloud only.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
So,
basically how you can play the on the
exactly.
Xbox One via cloud.
It's so you can play that next gen graphics fidelity on the Switch.
And
So, but I'm excited.
I just dropped the link to the my review of A Plague Tale Innocence, the first game in the series. So go check that out after the podcast. But definitely has me excited for the upcoming sequel.
So, and that releases on Tuesday. So, this game takes place a few years afterwards. You know, you're playing as both characters. You're trying to, you have the ability to control the mice. You can do all the things you did in the first game, but you kind of come into your own as playing both characters now.
Hmm. Yeah, it looks pretty cool
I'm
because she
excited
also
for that.
gets a bow, I think, or like a
Yeah.
crossbow. So like that, she can actually be more aggressive and like more of the attack as opposed to the defense and being stealth the whole time. Like you can
Hmm.
actually go into these fights and actually attack now.
No, it definitely feels a lot more, I'd say innocence has been lost at this point. Like a
Hmm.
Plague Tale innocence, you're that that sort of just childlike innocence, whereas, Requiem, it's that sort of musical composition that it comes to fruition, if you will,
Yeah.
and kind of remembering who you were and looking at the past. So I kind of like the titles here because it makes sense. At one point they're like, "Do you need to kill people?" I think in the trailer he said, and she's like, "We've got to do what we have to do to stay alive." So
Right.
she's killing all these people now, just brutally one after another.
Right.
So I'm excited to see where this story goes because the big bad's gone. So what is the next story? It felt like we wrapped it up in the last game. So where do we go next?
Yeah, for sure. I'm just curious to see because I think the mother was still ill or hurt or injured, so I wonder like how was her recovery too at the end of it.
Mhm.
And then obviously the boy's name. Let me see. Is the girl drawing a blank on the boy who controls the rats? But like that's still killing him more or less. Like the more he uses it, the more like it drains him. So like he has to have a nice balance of that. So I'm curious to see how that plays out in the story.
Hmm. Definitely.
But
And then, oh, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say what game are you anticipated the most out of this list other than that one?
So other than a Plague Tale, I think my next big choice would have to probably be it's a struggle. There's
Hmm.
like I'm gonna have to go with Gotham Knights at this point. So we've got Gotham Knights on the PS5, Xbox X and S, and PC. This drops on the 21st, which is Friday.
Hmm.
That game has me really excited because I like the Batman Incorporated sort of feel, or like
Right.
the Batman, the Bat Children, if you will. That kind of group I like, and I like that you're playing, Nightwing, you're playing Robin, Red Hood, and Batgirl. Like,
Right.
I find it really cool. I'm just interested to see how they're going to do this two-player, with the four characters.
Hmm.
Are you hot swapping? Are you swapping,
In
at certain
between
parts and
levels,
levels?
yeah.
Or you have to go the whole level, then switch.
Yeah, I'm really curious, and I don't know why they did that whole two-player thing. Because interesting enough, they
Yeah,
just announced it this week that they're adding a four-player co-op mode in November. So about at the end of November, so about a month
yeah.
after the release, they're adding
And
this, and it's like it's
and we
separate.
were
It's separate from the actual campaign and like what really plays on in the two-player version. Like this is completely different, and I'm just like, why didn't you just make the game four players to begin with? You know what I mean? So I'm
exactly.
I'm really confused.
And I was talking about this in chat. Like we talked about it on my
Hmm.
Discord, in my community Discord, and I talked about how, yeah, they have a four-player mode that they haven't denied, and you were like, oh, it's only two players. I was like, but they're teasing a four-player mode. I kept seeing the teasers for it, and they were talking about it, and I'm like, I'm upset that it's not actually a four-player mode. It's just a four-player other mode.
Right. So we'll see how that plans out. Interesting
But
enough, that is on next gen only as well.
yeah. And so hopefully that should be a good game. And it is 1-2-2 players, so you don't have to play with somebody else if you don't want to.
Right.
So make sure to check that out. I believe, what do we, Game Pass day one?
No, not this time.
Exa-
I'm surprised.
exactly. This is one of the few games that we're not getting on Game Pass day one. So you actually have to go out and buy this game.
Damn it.
And I think we're looking at a full price tag too, like, which eh, I don't think it's 70. I think it's 59.99 still. So I'm kind of on the fence whether I want to buy it right away or if I'm gonna wait a little bit here.
It's $69.99, $70,
Yep. So, and then it has a deluxe edition if you want.
and the
But
collector's edition. That's like 300.
yeah, yeah. So, thing to be on the watch for this game though is if you do read comics, there is a prequel tie-in comic that you can read through and everything, and it will give you free items in game. So I
Hmm.
believe the motorcycle you get, the Bat Cycle skin, you can actually just get that from the comics instead.
Oh, okay, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
but yeah, man, one of the games that I'm highly anticipating this week, because this to me is a big week in gaming for
mhm.
game releases, is New Tales from the Borderlands. I missed out on the first one, which I can go back and play, but this new one looks really good, especially set in that Borderlands universe. Obviously, we came off of Tiny Tina's, which was a fantastic game, and this is a different take. This is like one of those like visual novels, more or less, that your decisions matter and whatnot. So it looks really cool. And this one comes out on October 21st as well, same day as Gotham Knights, coming to basically all platforms except for the Switch. So are you excited for this one at all?
I'm probably not going to play it for a long, like, I don't know. My stream mentioned potentially asking me to play these. So like if people on my stream decide they want me and they pay for the viewer request Sunday, I'll
Hmm.
play one, but I probably am not going to make time for it outside of, just the other games I got going on because not to mention, the new Tales from the Borderlands. We've got two other game, like another game that really interests me as well out here, if you don't
Hmm.
mind me swapping over.
Yeah,
I've got Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope coming out. So
yeah.
looks really cool. It's on the Switch and it drops the day before it on Thursday. This game is the sequel to the original Mario and Rabbids. It's now they've changed the whole fighting dynamic, which I think is really cool for this game.
Hmm.
It's now, instead of grid based, it's free movement based. So like
Yeah.
it's a little cooler. You're able to do a little bit more because you can go diagonally,
Hmm.
which, shortens your distance.
For sure. Um, the first one I actually own sitting here behind me, and I've never beaten it. I played probably like an hour or two of it and kind of just put it down. It, excuse me. I think what I'm gonna do is probably go back and play that and beat it before I hop into Sparks of Hope, and maybe just wait a few months and maybe pick it up when it's on sale or something. I think that's my goal.
Yeah, that's what I feel. Like it's hard to find a Nintendo game that
Yeah,
goes on sale, but
right.
like if you can ever get it for like 30 bucks or less, that's when I would be buying it too. I'm probably not going to go out of my way to get it,
hmm
but like if I end up wanting to, I might go for it. I'd like to beat the first game though, which I actually never beat.
Yeah, and actually, just to circle back real quick, New Tales from the Borderlands is a $50 game, so it's the opposite of Gotham Knights. It's cheaper as opposed to more expensive. It's not that
Yeah,
$60
but then
price
again,
tag.
it's not a full game though, like the Gotham Knights is gonna be. It's gonna
hmm
be more of a story game, so it's a little bit of a lighter game,
Yeah,
kind of like Scorn is. Scorn has some content, some stuff you do, but it's a lighter game in whole. Like it's not gonna take you as long to beat, most likely.
right. Next up, that I'm kind of excited for, just because I know both the Lunacy Arts community and the Shoot to Win community plays these games a lot, is Jackbox. Party Pack 9 is coming out on October 20th on basically
That
all
was the next
platforms.
thing I wanted to
And
mention.
and I know this is pretty big for a bunch of people. It's always fun to hop in these party games. Basically, anybody can play these. Like you don't have to be a gamer to hop into these. Like they're legit like party games. Just if you got a phone, it works. So are you? I assume you're excited for this one.
That's the thing. I haven't bought a Jackbox game in a while, and like I didn't even realize Jackbox 8 came out at this point. But
No.
like 9, to really talk about the games here, so I can give people an idea what we're looking at. The games I believe we're playing here are Fibbage 4, which is the sequel to Fibbage. We've got Quicksort, which is in this trivia sorting factory, you work with your team to sort falling answers into their proper order before they hit the floor. So you pretty much they may give you the planets, and you're supposed to put the planets in order. And
Interesting.
then you get points based on what you're correct or not. Next up, we've got Junktopia. This is 3 players minimum to 8 players. You're all turned into frogs, and you have to create hilarious backstories and weird objects. You have to take these objects that you've made backstories and then get them appraised. Whoever has the most valuable item becomes human again, and the rest stay frogs. We've got Nonsensory, which is Professor Nanners, the monkey, is here to test your non-sensory perception in this drawing, writing, and guessing game. You have to try to guess where another player's prompt ranks on the silliest of scales. And then lastly, we've got Roomerang. Channel your inner reality TV star and attempt to come out on the top. Respond to prompts, bring the competitive and role play to avoid being voted out. Never fear, though, when you're out, you'll find yourself roomeranged right back into the drama. So it's sort of a last man standing of a fake reality TV show.
Hmm.
Looks interesting, but I don't know if it's one that I really want to spend a lot of money on.
Right. Right. I think that's all the ones that I'm anticipated for this week personally, but there are some other releases that are coming out.
Uncharted, the Legacy of Thieves collection does hit PC. So now we're getting back into that, PlayStation, Sony coming to the PC. This is one of their big core games. It's now on PC. This is one of the things you buy the console for. Now you don't need a console to play it. So we've got that. We've got also the Ghostbusters game we mentioned, which is the one versus many Ghostbuster game.
Yeah.
That's coming out here on the 5, XNS, 4, 1, and PC on the 18th. So honestly, I think this is gonna fall into the noise section.
Pretty much.
It's not going to make much of a hit. Because like the Dragon Ball game came out yesterday,
Yeah.
today,
Yeah.
something
Something
like
like
that.
that. Yeah.
So yeah, so that game came out, and honestly, I don't see much about it. Like I usually use like Reddit as a litmus test. Haven't seen anything about it.
Yeah. It's on the Xbox dashboard, so that's the only thing I've seen from it.
Yeah, right. And then a game we played a while back, Second Extinction. They finally are removing it from game preview, and it's a full game.
hmm
Honestly, this game, it launched, it looked cool, but it kind of was at
Yeah. It was.
best.
Yeah.
Now, this was a Microsoft exclusive. It was only on the XS1 and PC. So if you were a fan of Second Extinction, the final game or the full game, the 1.0 launch, drops this week on the 20th.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass too.
Yeah. And then for my fighting fan friends, Persona 5 Royale gets its next gen. So, and the Xbox version of the game.
Yeah, and that's the first time Persona's ever been on an Xbox platform, and that's exciting. And it's coming to Game Pass as well on
Mhm.
the 21st with
And it's the first of many too. That's the other thing to remind us. Because like Persona 4 and 5 and 3, I think are all
mhm.
coming to Xbox before the end of the year.
Yeah, I think we covered it last week or 2 weeks ago that
hmm
Persona 3 and 4 are coming to Game Pass
2 weeks ago, I
in January.
think, because
It's
we
coming in
saw that
January.
on we saw the re talk about it at the Switch the Playhouse, the
Nintendo
showcase from
Direct.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I know the Persona franchise is pretty big and it just appeals to a lot of people, so it's just coming to more people and have fun.
And this is a Japanese audience game. We're
Yeah.
bringing those Eastern audiences in more and more with every day. Now let's talk about how Blizzard, Activision, and Xbox are doing. Vic?
Yeah, so Microsoft isn't too happy right now with UK regulators because of how they're like siding with PlayStation because PlayStation like flew out there and was like, "Hey, this is what's going on, blah blah blah," and basically they described the regulators' concerns as misplaced and adopted Sony's complaints without considering the potential harm to consumers. And it's just interesting because like they have some great points that Sony PlayStation has been the largest console platform for over 20 years with an install base of over 150 million consoles, making it larger than Nintendo and more than double the size of Xbox. So that's just one point, and I got four more here that I'll just cover real quick. Is Sony engages in conduct today which is reflective of its market power in console gaming, including increasing prices of its consoles without the fear of losing market share. And that was with the increased price of the PS5 that just came out. The other one is that this incumbent market leader with clear and enduring market power could be foreclosed by third largest provider as a result of losing access to one title is not creditable. There are more than 4,000 games available on PlayStation alone. So these are just some valid points that they're using. This is a tweet that I got from Tom Warren, one of the creditable resources that you can get this information from. And then PlayStation's monthly active users are playing Call of Duty, but they're playing it less than they normally are on PlayStation. Even without all these gamers, like PlayStation just doesn't really have that player base as much as Xbox. There's more Xbox Call of Duty players than there are PlayStation, which is interesting because we know that the exclusivity right now is on PlayStation. Get the beta early, get this early, get that early. Like everything goes back to PlayStation. Xbox, you don't really hear them really complaining about it. So those are just some of the points here that I wanted to cover. What Roger, you have any input on any of this here?
I think we're focusing a little bit too much on Call of Duty, and not as much on the rest of the market share because at this point, and this tweet you have up on the screen as well, something you need to know is like, yeah, we complain about PlayStation having this exclusivity and how, Xbox is crying about it. Xbox is actually the one who started all of this. They were the
Mm-hmm.
first one to get a Call of Duty exclusive. And then PlayStation anteed up and paid the price to actually get it from Blizzard or from Activision because they're not
Yeah.
Blizzard at this point. So they paid Activision to get that exclusivity and they continued to keep those to meet that sort of contract deal. So they kept getting it. But Microsoft was the first one to actually go with this exclusivity. So they started this fight a little bit here. But
Right.
what I think people are sleeping on is just the fact that we have so many other IPs that are just as big. You have this extended Warcraft universe that is World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, Warcraft. You
Mm-hmm.
have these big IPs that could do a lot of stuff with a lot of stuff.
Right.
And and it brings a lot of money to Microsoft. Like for me, I'm not worried about the fact that, all this exclusivity goes to Microsoft. Fine. I'm worried about the fact that they are going to be big. This is a huge acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
Should we be worried that some of the biggest MMO in the world is soon to be Microsoft's? So, and also Candy Crush.
Yeah.
So
Right.
like we're the biggest mobile game, the biggest MMO, the biggest shooter game. All three of these things are going to be owned by Microsoft. Microsoft will be the leader in multiple genres. And They could just say one day that nothing goes on the PlayStation anymore. Like, yeah, PlayStation has these contracts, but they can make more money just by going, nah, you know what? Let's just push everyone to our Game Pass subscription. So you have to remember that getting this, they could, with the Thanos snap, PlayStation just loses everything Activision Blizzard, and that could be huge. Microsoft literally could hold is theoretically will hold them by the balls, and at any moment they could tear them. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
So it is scary for them to get this big because what's next? They could keep buying up more stuff after this. Like
Hmm.
this is only one of many big acquisitions, and this is the biggest acquisition in gaming history.
Yeah. And interesting enough that other companies are actually backing this acquisition though. Take Two CEO came out and said, "Hey, it's a good thing for Microsoft and the industry." And I think what he's referencing to is the issues that Microsoft or Activision Blizzard's dealing with, like legality and like the
Yeah.
toxic workplace and stuff like that. Microsoft can go in there and clean house, and just basically just make everything much better. And I think that's where
And
the good is.
And I want to agree. I want to 100% agree with you. I think that is one of the biggest things that would benefit the industry and be good for everyone is Microsoft is good about fixing problems and trying to do good by people. And I think honestly, yeah, if they came in, it would be great. We might see a new era for all of Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
But maybe we might not. Maybe they just start to bury this stuff. Who knows? It really honestly once they start getting that big, who cares? They own everything you want to play.
Right, and interesting enough, Phil Spencer already said no matter what happens with this deal, they still want to buy more developers, and it's
Hmm.
just because like their philosophy is if we buy developers, it gives them creative freedom, as opposed to a company just being held back and not being able to
I get
create
that.
the way that they want to create. So like, there's tons of positives, there's a bunch of negatives too. So would honestly, it's like a wait and see thing and kind of see how this all plays out. But moving on to some more Xbox news here, I want to cover that rumored controller that was initially kind of leaked. The new wireless controller. It's called the Lunar Shift controller. I do got an image of it here. I'm gonna get it up on screen. It's not that appealing to me. Do I want it just to collect and add it to my collection here? Yes, but I could probably wait until it goes on sale. It's one of those like color shifting controllers. Like it's gray but gold depending on how the light hits it and the angle of the controller and stuff like that. And then like the nice rubberized swirl grips that are on the back. Those are always nice. I really like that on the blue. So, the blue shifting controller that they had that was really nice. Roger, what do you think on this controller? Is this one of their more of their blah kind of controllers?
I don't know. It's hard to see the color shifting very well. But the price point, it's like, I prefer the feel of a PlayStation controller still.
Mm-hmm.
So like for this to not be, it's just be a normal controller and nothing special. It's
Right.
just it's just color shift. Now the price points for this, if you want to know, are 69.99 for the controller, and for the matching Razer dock is $50.
Yeah. I always like the matching docks because like it just looks appealing. Like when you had the controllers just sitting on the stands and they all, um, excuse me, individually charging on their own docks. It's pretty cool. But moving on to our last bit of Xbox industry news. This one here is in regards to Ark Survival, and all of this information came out during the whole Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal, because they're diving into like the how much money spent on it with Game Pass and whatnot. And then we also got a comparison of how much Sony also paid. So basically, Ark Survival's been on Game Pass since 2018, so we're looking at about 4 years now. We're in its fifth year. The deal was amended in 2020 to keep Ark indefinitely and then also bring Ark 2 to Game Pass day one for at least 3 years. Microsoft initially paid $2.5 million to keep Ark 1 on Game Pass and then paid another 2.3 to put Ark 2 on the Game Pass day one. In comparison, Sony did pay $3.5 million to add it to their PlayStation Plus in March. Roger, what's your take on all
But
this?
I think it's interesting because you have to realize that Game Pass, you don't own the game, but
Right,
PlayStation paid so that you could own the game.
right.
So that's the big thing here. We're looking at 3.5 million so that PlayStation can give free copies to everyone who has PlayStation Plus back in March.
Hmm.
But Microsoft, yeah, they're paying for it to be there indefinitely, so let's hope that it never gets pulled from the catalog
Right.
like some other games.
Yeah, for sure. Um, but honestly, like we obviously know the value of Game Pass. If you play it and you beat it in the first month, and you play like two more games or whatever, you already basically got that game for free as well. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like if you beat it and whatnot in the first month. So it's pretty cool though to see these kind of numbers come out though, because other than that, Microsoft has been kind of closed doors on how much money they spend to these developers and publishers to acquire get these games on Game Pass. And this is interesting to see Ark's numbers. Like I'm curious to see like big time games, like bigger games like Back for Blood recently,
Mhm.
Outsiders, more of those third party games. But nonetheless, Roger, Meta had their event this week and kind of showcased some news in regards to Oculus. Let's
Yeah,
talk about it.
so first of all, Xbox Game Pass is coming to Quest devices. So it's not that you're getting VR though, it's that you're just able to play those games in the VR headset. So it's like sitting behind your computer screen, but the screen's here. So it's you're in VR, but it's not VR. So you're
Right.
not getting VR games for it. So you can also hook up a controller now to the Quest instead of using the handles, the
Hmm.
joysticks, you can use an actual controller and play all of your Xbox Game Pass catalog items from there. We also saw that Among Us VR will be launching November 10th for the Quest. I believe you should be able to also get this on PC and then load it in through another vendor if you don't want to buy it on their store.
Hmm.
Now, last but not least, we also saw, sorry, there's two more things. We saw one more thing here that is the Quest Pro has been announced. This is the next gen VR headset. It is expensive, as you can see in the bottom right hand corner of our screen. It is 1499.99. That is $1,500 plus tax wherever you live. So it's something. It's definitely a lot of money. It is a lighter weight than most other VR headsets, as you can see here on our screen, or if you're watching or looking it up on your own here while listening to us. It is very small, it's slim, it's sleek, it's light. It will include three cameras, a mobile processor, the Snapdragon 662 processor. It has next gen optics and it is better performance hardware, but is it worth $1,500? That's the real question. Yes, we just saw the Quest Pro 2 go up in price by $100 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So like, you're paying almost three times the price for this Pro. Is it worth it?
I don't think so. But basically, what Meta was trying to go with here is that they're trying to say that the Quest Pro is more for business as opposed to gaming. And I'm just curious on why you would charge something $1,500 for business stuff. Like, I don't know
Dude,
what kind of
okay.
software, how much power they need behind a headset for business, but like I feel like gaming would need more power than I don't know.
Well, actually, kind of talking about that. So, business has always been a big markup. For example, I work for the state, and in companies, when they sell you a business model or they have a business contract, you actually pay more than consumers pay.
I believe it.
Yeah, I literally pay more for a laptop that I can get. Like, I pay more for accessories and other shit than I can get on. Like, I buy the same exact item on Amazon or through another vendor or go into Best Buy. I pay less than we do on contract. And so you always pay more for business products. But in this case, we're also looking at things that are marketed towards like the armed forces and military, people who are doing CAD and stuff like that to be able to do walkthroughs of buildings that they've designed in VR. So
Yeah.
it is it worth it? I don't know. You could probably get away with a normal Quest headset just fine. You turn on development mode and you're done.
Yeah, so we'll see how this plays out. I think $1,500 is a little bit steep for a VR headset. That's definitely not in my budget. Like that, this is definitely not targeted for me. And usually, I love the pro devices. Like I love getting the iPhone 14 Pro. I'll spend $1,400 on this, but I won't pay $1,400 on a VR headset. It's just there's no benefit for me to even have a VR headset to that point. Like I'm not really missing out on much. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
honestly, they just bought up. three of the big time VR developers, the ones that were behind like the Resident Evil VR, the Iron Man VR, and then there's a third one that they
Well,
also
not
bought.
even that. So Armature Studios is actually the founding members of the Metroid Prime franchise.
Mm,
They were founded in 2008, and their studio, like these are people who left the Metroid Prime franchise to make their own studio back in 2008. And so they have a little bit of a handle on some of these early first person sort of experiences like Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime would be one of those perfect games for VR,
right.
but it wasn't. It never was. So, because VR is a new technology and Metroid Prime is over 20 years old. So, we're looking at them. We've got Camouflage and Twisted Pixel as well. So, these are pretty big developers for Facebook. Sorry, Meta. My apologies. Meta to be buying while they're also losing a ton of money.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how this
Like,
plays out, but I guess like if you, it's just like when Xbox, like when you buy the developers and you're putting it on your own platform, it gives them creative freedom as well to maybe enhance their games for the platform. I don't know.
mhm.
Maybe that's a benefit from this.
And like there's a thing that we're joking about. I was watching the news this week, something that's not in our podcast, but something to kind of talk about.
Hmm.
Meta is just blowing money right now. They're losing so much money, especially on the metaverse right now.
Yeah.
And like Mark Zuckerberg is full steam ahead with the metaverse, and nobody else really understands it. Like he mandated all their employees to have their meetings in the metaverse, and like half the employees didn't even have their shit set up or ready to go at all. So like they didn't know what they were doing, they didn't understand it, and like they have a thing that they talked about. There's a MMH, which is make Mark happy in the company now. So anytime something is MMH, it's supposed to make him happy.
Oh,
And
jeez.
Mark actually himself embraced this and like, this is what we're doing because this is what I want to do. So he's like, MMH, guys, MMH. Even he embraced the make Mark happy.
That's crazy out there.
Dude, he's so self-aware of this joke,
He's riding his high horse right now. But
even though he's blown millions.
enough of Meta though. PlayStation got a little bit of industry news here. What's going on with them?
All right, so mostly all we're going to talk about here is the Ragnarok bundle. So, as we talked about last week, Ragnarok went gold, so they're printing right now. Game discs are being minted. PS5 and God of War Ragnarok bundle was announced. It's garbage. All it is the console with the game. That's it. Same old console, the white console with the disc drive. That's it. No
This
special edition, no controller, no console, no game. Like just the plain game, the plain console, the white console. That's it. Fin.
Bro, I'm so confused on this. This was their time to just. We're going to include that new special edition controller, that God of War special edition controller with the bundle.
Dude, I say this hundreds of times. I say this all the time. Money gun. Dude, money gun moment. And they let
They
it
fumbled
go.
it. They
I
forgot to
feel
put
like
batteries in it.
honestly, I think the biggest thing we're dealing with right now with Sony is they're so worried about certain things that they just kind of forget the fact that other stuff exists in their company.
Yeah.
Like the marketing team is all hands on deck trying to anti-market the acquisition and
Hmm.
not to actually continue to market their product. And I agree with our insiders here on Twitter who talk about how PlayStation, they don't really they have such a market share, yes, in the console space, and that's it, that they can do whatever they want and people are still going to keep going with it. But I think if they want to do better, if they want to be able to compete with Microsoft, they really just need to be all in on just like smelling their own farts kind of moment. Like they are Sony. Market it. Give that special edition shit. Make us want to spend money, gun money on this shit. And like I would have been on the fence if I saw a God of War Ragnarok controller. I'd be probably buying that shit. I could guarantee I'd go out of my way to buy it because I love this game. I love God of War. The new one was awesome,
Right.
but
And it
this
would
was a flop.
yeah, what really blows my mind though is like you know how like when the PlayStation 5 was first announced and then like these third parties started to come up with the idea of like selling third party plates that you can remove the color of the outside of the PlayStation. It and
Well, they sued
PlayStation
people.
right, PlayStation was so against them doing this because they wanted to do it. This was a perfect opportunity to come out and sell God of War plates. You know how dope that would have been to match the controller that they came out with plates?
Well, they don't
Prime.
even have the controller. Oh, they do,
They do.
wi- but it's horrible. Look how stupid it looks. Like I even forgot about the controller for a minute there because it's just so bad.
Right. And to put it into perspective here, here's a great example. God, we know God of
Exactly.
War is PlayStation's like one of their prime main franchises, and Xbox's is Halo. When Halo Infinite came out, they released a Series X, a special edition Series X from Halo
That
Infinite.
shit
Look
looks
at that,
fire.
looks dope. Like why
It's
people
fire.
bought this? People wanted this. This sold out the first day it was available.
Yeah.
Why doesn't
And
PlayStation do stuff like this?
and for just to show the difference, look at the fucking controller for God of War. We talked about it a while back, but it's just all it is a blue and white controller with two wolves howling. Like that motif isn't really what we care about. We care about the axe, the bow, these are the motifs that really sell it to us.
Here's the
You know,
controller
m-
for those who don't
yeah,
remember what it is.
it's just it was so underwhelming. And like yeah, like it'd have been cooler maybe do a faceplate and controller bundle. Sell me a faceplate and controller for 120 bucks. You know people are gonna fucking buy it. Sell me the controller, the faceplate, and also a fucking game. Dude, 200 bucks right there. Money gun.
And then on top of that, bro, you can like include Ragnarok into your PlayStation Plus Premium, whatever your highest tier, and then include it into the bundle. You get a month for free. You can check out God of War Ragnarok on your God of War Ragnarok console with your God of War Ragnarok controller.
We didn't get it. Exactly.
It's mind
That's
blowing.
it. It's done. Game over, dude. And this is the moments where I think, yeah, Sony is really doing poorly here. The PlayStation team is shit in the bed. But then again, I'm still worried about Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard.
Yeah,
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still fearful of it, but like Sony could literally give a fight, like a really genuine fight. Like the PS Plus subscription, the fact that this isn't going to be on there is just so stupid because now I've paid $90 for the subscription and I still have to buy this game
after
for
paying
$70.
$500 for the console, it starts to add up. Where Xbox, you get a Series S with Game Pass, you have everything
Yeah,
for
you just
for
start
three
playing.
hundred
You're good.
or 250 because it's on sale right now for 250 right now with an extra
Exactly.
controller. So you get two controllers, the Series S and Game Pass. Don't even get me started. Let's move on
Yeah,
here
dude.
though. We got Nvidia news.
All
What's going
right,
on
so
here?
Nvidia, we got the RTX 4090 Founders Edition. So we see this coming out this past week. A lot of people are starting to preview it here. It is a 3 bay card slot. So we're now past the 2 card slot bay cards. It now takes 3 of your slots on the back of your board. That's going to be, probably, your PCI. It's then not going to use, but it's going to cover a mini PCI and another PCI slot on your board. This shit is giant, dude.
This shit's a
But
brick.
this shit is literally not going to fit in anything that isn't like a full size case. Anyone with like a mini ATX, dude, it's honestly, it's like that meme where the girl's sitting on the couch and a bunch of dudes are behind her, Like that's this thing right here, dude. That shit ain't gonna fit. That shit is huge. It's not going in your case.
Yeah,
It's
that's
24
ridiculous.
gigs of DDR GDDR6X and it will play 4K at 144 hertz. So you've got the full resolution and full speed. It's got AV1 video compression for streaming, which is chef kiss. Dude, that shit is going to be fire. It is 25 to 30% better, has increased performance over the 3090 Ti. That is the best 3090. It has a just 30% better.
Yeah,
But
it's impressive.
bad news, they did have a 4080 12 gigabyte version. of the card for the 40 series, they used the 4080 name to try and actually do two card launches. So you had the 24 gig and the 12 gig 4080. They actually released the 4080 12 gig as it is instead of making what it was because they decided, oh, we're gonna take the 4070 and pretend it's a 4080. This is actually the 4070 card, and the Nvidia got caught mentioning this to people that this is actually just a 4070 card that they just rebranded as a 4080 to charge more.
Yeah, and they decided to reverse all of that. They're unlaunching this, is what they came out
Correct.
with due to backlash. They still plan to release it just sometime in the future with a different name. Whether it's the 4070 or 4060, whatever they decide to name this one. TI, XTI, RDX, who knows what they're going to name it. But,
It's just 4070. It should just be the 4070.
right.
Does it?
But
All right.
just to talk about the power of the 4090 card, because one of the guys that I follow in gaming industry that most people probably know is Paris Lilly, and he got his hands on the 4090 card. He's working with Nvidia, and he got to basically showcase how powerful this is. He was able to run Cyberpunk 2077 at 4K, 144 hertz with ray tracing enabled. And bro, that game, I thought I was in the game. Like I thought I was in real life. I thought that was real
Yeah.
life, and I was just like, this is the future of gaming. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. But look at the price tag,
Yeah,
though.
again, it's another 1,500 $1,600, but that's
Yeah,
that's
dude.
worth it as opposed to the Quest Pro headset.
Exactly. No, 100%. So let's move on here to some unfortunate industry news. So we found out this week that Bayonetta 3 is not going to have the original voice actor from Bayonetta 1 and 2. She's asking Helena Taylor is asking people to boycott the game because she was actually not offered any money at all to really do the voice acting.
More or less.
She was offered under $4,000 to do the whole game's voice acting. And then when she said that was too little, they brought the offer up and gave her a final offer of only $4,000. So like they undersold her by a ton and then said final offer $4,000. And she said no. So Platinum Games and Nintendo sent her role over to somebody else. And then she started to tweet and talk about this publicly. And Platinum Games Vice President Hideki Kamiya tweeted, sad and deplorable about the attitude of untruth. That's what all I can tell now. By the way, beware of my rules. Like threatening the fan base or threatening her. Not quite
Yeah.
sure, but this person is known for being not the greatest of people. He's, from what I've heard about him, there's rumors that he's just sort of a very vindictive and evil person.
Yeah.
So, he kind of fucked her here. And now instead of her voice acting the game, we are going to be getting, I forget who it was now.
While you look it up there, to put it into perspective, Platinum Games has made over $250 million off of just the Bayonetta franchise. So for them to turn around and only offer $4,000 to your lead actor, your lead voice actor in the game, $4,000, that's pitiful, dude. Like that's like entry level voice acting money right there.
Yeah, definitely. And what's crazy is instead of hiring her, they then upsold and got Jennifer Hale instead.
hmm Yeah, another big name in
Like
the voice acting.
she's huge. She's
Yeah.
one of the biggest names in voice acting. She's done stuff from, she's been in voice acting since 1988. She's one of the biggest voice actors we know. She was in Overwatch, Metroid Prime, BioShock Infinite, Metal Gear Solid,
hmm
Baldur's Gate, Mass Effect, KOTOR. She's done it all, and she's also in the Guinness Book of World Records as the most prolific video game voice actress.
hmm
Like this is huge, but to have her replace Helena Taylor, how much did they offer her now? They
Right.
fucking underballed Helena, so now we're not going to get our normal voice actor who we all know and love. Like she was an iconic voice actor. She has a really good voice
hmm
acting for it. That's the voice of Bayonetta. Now we have to get somebody else, and what are they paying her?
Right. And to put this in another view is what do we say all the time about like what Nickelodeon does with their characters? They go out and they use some other person's voice and
Exactly.
it just doesn't you can't relate to that character, you don't bond with that character because that's not the voice you know, and that's going to be the same instances here. If you're a big Bayonetta fan and you start listening to this person, it's not going to be the same. You're going to like, well, who's this? You know what I mean? So it's just sad to see someone like this get undercut from a big corporate company again, per usual.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So we're going a little long here in the industry news. Let's move on to gaming news. Vic, tell me about the Stadia and Xbox.
Oh yeah, this is interesting enough with Stadia. Obviously, we all know that they have shut down their thing, but they're going through all of the proper channels to make sure all of the players that were on their platform can still continue to play on their save files. So with Elder Scrolls Online, they're going to allow you to make transfer your progress to PC, along with Ubisoft as well. Anything that's connected via Ubisoft Connect will also continue progress via PC as well. So they're at least giving you the resources and they're refunding you the money for everything that you spent. So at least they're doing right by their consumer. They
Yeah,
fucked up pretty bad.
like yeah, you have to buy the game again on PC, but at least you get to keep your progress.
Right. So that's awesome. In regards to Xbox, got to just two updates real quick in regards to Game Pass, both a positive and negative here. First off, we got Phantom Abyss. It's launching on October 20th, so it's a game that's coming out this week. It's already on Steam. It was once a Steam exclusive, but it's coming to Xbox console. This is like one of those like temple run kind of game, but like in a 3D world where you're trying to compete, like trying to get out of the temple and stuff like that. So it looks really cool. It's like survival kind of, not like a traditional survival game, but it's like a competition. You know what I mean? And it's coming to
Hmm.
Series S and X day one on October 20th. So definitely check that game out. It looks pretty cool. Another game that we talked about in the past was Humankind, that we know that was coming to Xbox Game Pass because it's currently already on PC Game Pass, but it's being delayed indefinitely due to unexpected challenges. There's no update on release date on that, but we just wanted to.
Wow, this sounds like KOTOR to me. KOTOR on Switch.
Right. So it's just I'm
Is it?
curious on what the issue is though.
Yeah, lately it feels like we never get this news about games not coming to consoles, but all of a sudden we're getting a bunch of games like, oh, we can't bring it to console, or we can't do this, or we're dropping it. We're not working on it anymore. But you pay the money, you can't beat the game, whatever.
Right. So Roger, what's going on with Nintendo?
All right, so one of the coolest things I read about recently, Splatoon had the biggest launch in recent time for a physical game.
Hmm.
Splatoon had two out of every three physical games sold in Japan last month was Splatoon. That's
Interesting.
it. Two out of every three physical games were Splatoon. That's about 2.6 million physical copies of Splatoon sold in the first month alone. And that doesn't even consider any of the digital media. So the sales for mixed media was 3.45 million copies in 3 days. The first 3 days, they sold 3.45 million copies. At $60 a game, that's huge. That's 34.5 times six. That's a lot. That's $200 million
Yeah, that's a
in the first 3 days.
right. Splatoon 3 was a huge release for the Nintendo Switch, and I'm just curious to see how understand why there were so many physical copies bought because like we know how big the digital market is right now, and most of the copies were physical sold. So that's a interesting take. I guess people still prefer the physical cartridge on Switch as opposed to having the digital. I guess
Yeah,
because if people are playing on the go, they want to still be able to
it's a
play their
bigger
game.
it's a bigger footprint as well, which is, the Switch doesn't really have expandable storage. So like it's not easy to expand the onboard storage of the Switch, and they're
Hmm.
small to begin with. So like having that physical copy makes it a lot easier because you only have to do small updates that you save on the console. You don't have to save the whole game like PlayStation and Xbox.
Right. Which I miss about the 360 and the PS3 days, where
Yeah, right?
you took the disc, you put
Put
the disc in, you had maybe an online update to fix the bugs, and you were in. You're playing the game.
Yeah, and the update you just load it in, that's like what, a gig of your console storage. But
Right.
now you're like, oh, 40 gigs later, I'm like sitting here on my PlayStation like shit,
It's not like Call of Duty where like
delete.
it's a 100 GB download, and you're like, fuck, that's like
Yeah,
half
dude,
my
I
hard
can't
drive.
even think about that.
Yeah, it's insane.
All right, Vic. So what's going on in Fortnite?
Fortnite is just continuing to be big, dude. Um, they have a Doctor Who collaboration, It's the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who, and it's several months away, but it's one of 8 collaborations that are supposed to be coming out between now and 2023, so in about 2 months. So that's pretty cool. Another one that's coming out is a Warner Brothers collaboration. They did announce Black Adam is coming to Fortnite with a potential limited time mode as well. And we all know Black Adam is coming out in theaters here in 5 days, and I know I'm excited to go see it. I know you are as well.
Hmm.
So it just builds hype up around both the movie and the game, just continues to add to it. But one thing that kind of blew me away was this creator. I don't even know how to pronounce the name.
Jekyll Hyde.
Jekyll Hyde, I guess. He basically recreated like Breath of the Wild in Fortnite, so you can relive it. That was a dope ass creation. What's your take on this? I know you played through Breath of the Wild. Have you checked out this recreation of it?
No, I just saw it and I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, what
That's his
what
job.
are you doing? Like, why are you spending so many hours on something like that? It's just so much wasted talent. I feel like he could have done this in something else because, like, at the end of the day, like, it's cool that he's created this, but like, he could have done like made a game at that point.
Right. I mean, maybe it helps him build his portfolio. Like, hey, this is what I did, and maybe he can say, hey, hire me. I did this.
Well, that's happened before. Like we talked about how mods for games have gotten people full jobs with the company they modded for. Like we talked about Bethesda hiring Fallout modders who built whole Fallout games, like whole zones. Like I think it was London, Fallout London or something. The developers for the mod got hired, half of them hired on.
Yeah, that's dope. Like Fallout could be anywhere in the world and have different expansions and different experiences. Like Fallout is a franchise I think needs to be in the hand of more developers.
Yeah.
Just my personal
All
take.
right. So, talking about Fortnite here, let's move into another first person shooter. Well, two first person shooters. So, first I'll talk about Valorant, and then I've got Overwatch 2 Week 2. So, let's talk about the new agent, Harbor. Just got announced. He's going to be a controller, and he's about covering large areas, about being able to sort of split the map up as opposed to entering or making it so that your team can enter the map. So we've got Harbor here on trailer that we've got playing if you're able to see it. Otherwise, feel free to check out the video. It is on their official Twitter as well as on their website, I believe here.
This is on
We've got
YouTube here.
High Tide. His first ability is a wall of water that he can throw, as you can see on the screen here. You cannot shoot through the wall, but you can walk through the wall. So it's like a Phoenix wall, except you can't shoot through it. And it doesn't heal him, and it doesn't do much else other than block bullets. Next, we've got the Cove, which we saw here, which is the Q. That is a sphere of water. You fire to throw, and alt fire is an underhand throw. It creates a water shield that blocks bullets. It can roughly absorb 13 Vandal or Phantom bullets or 4 op shots. Next up, we've got Cascade, which is the sea. You equip a wave of water and you fire to send out rolling water through the walls, and you reuse to stop it from moving further. So it stops and creates a high tide style wall. And the last thing being his ultimate, Reckoning. You equip the full power of your artifact. Fire to summon a geyser pool on the ground. Enemy players in the area are targeted by successive geyser strikes, and if you're caught within those geyser strikes, you're concussed. He will be releasing this week on October 18th as part of episode 5, Act 3. So if you haven't finished your battle pass, you've got a day or two left.
Yeah, definitely go do that. And I'm sure this will. He seems like he could be in the meta. Like this is. He seems like a very important controller, and just like that orb that he can throw and basically like protect you. Because I think you were talking about it earlier when we were playing other
Well,
games. It takes what 15 vandal shots to destroy
13.
it. 13. Like that's crazy.
And one of the things that this character is definitely here for is not that it's something that we needed, it's something that was missing from the game. We don't have the anti-post plant meta, and this
Hmm.
character is actually built for that. So we've been talking about it for a few months, how the next agent is teased as a post plant safety. So the idea is this character can protect you during the post plant meta.
Yeah.
Oh, you go to stick the spike, he throws down orb on your teammate and he plays against your opponents. Mollies bounce off of it. Shock darts, don't go through it. It protects your teammates
I
from
wonder
these
if
things.
like Sova ult or Brim's ult. I wonder if that goes through it,
Yeah, it's
or
some
how
interactions
quickly
we
it
haven't seen
or
yet.
how quickly it destroys it. Because obviously we just said 13 bullets of the Vandal destroys it, but how long of the ult can go through it? So that'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see.
Remember, a Vandal does what, 100 damage, 160 damage headshot or something like that. So, and a Phantom does similar. Their ranges are different. So that's over 1,000 damage. That's Sage Wall levels of damage, but
Hmm.
half a clip. Whereas like Sova's ult only does 100 and Brim's ult only does, 150, 200 to
Yeah,
some, no, sorry, it's like 300 for the full duration. So, if it doesn't go through it, it's definitely going to be a problem because now you can sustain through all of those hits.
yeah. So I'm eager to see how
So,
this messes up the meta for sure.
yeah. Next up, we've got Overwatch 2, week 2. So, we've kind of been covering what's going on with Overwatch. So, we had an emergency shutdown this week due to DDoS. Then we had major bugs on multiple characters, which locked him out of ranked. And we pulled Bastion from the game. Bastion's no longer in the game,
I'm sad.
period, in any mode. The store doesn't work for many players. The character roster breaks, so you log in and you can only play the champions that new accounts can play.
Yeah.
And even though you have skins and unlockables on other characters, they're unplayable. And then we got more DDoS attacks yet again. And then now we have animation bugs and victory skins that lead to T-posing and you just angular standing like this. And then also we've got to make everything better, they're offering free skins and weapon charms to kind of help repay the players for a rough launch. So if you were watching this week, people playing Overwatch 2 with drops enabled like myself, you're able to get the Kiriko skin that goes with her, the sort of Japanese streetwear,
Hmm.
and then we have her voice line. And then next week we have a donut charm and another voice line, I believe, for Kiriko through drops. We're also all going to be given the Reaper skin, I believe, his aquatic like sunken pirate Reaper skin. And then I believe there is another weapon charm coming as well. So be on the lookout. Lots of free stuff coming to you on the game.
Did you?
Anything you got to say about it?
Yeah, I was just wanted to comment on what happened with Bastion, like why he was broken. All I know
Yeah.
is when I saw
So
that clip where he goes into his alt form and he's like hunkered down, he was under like unlimited like torpedo launches. He was like all over the map.
So what happens is you have 3 seconds to click as many times as you can click on the screen. And so in 3 seconds, as quickly as you can click, that's how many alts you get.
Yeah, and it was supposed to only be three. Like it was only supposed to have three
Yep.
shots, but he had unlimited
But
in
it
3 seconds.
3 seconds. Yeah.
Right.
So it was quite interesting and it's still broken. So the character is out of the game. And I'm thinking they're reworking him and just going to re-release him without of all of his rework content
Hmm.
because it just seems like it's not working for him.
Right.
It's another disastrous Blizzard launch. That's what it is.
Understatement.
Activision Blizz at it again.
Right. Some issues that are fixed on my end. The store wasn't accessible on my game. Now it is.
Mhm.
And all of the I was still unlocking characters for some reason in Overwatch 2, but like I owned the first game, so like I should have had a bunch of these players already unlocked. And now when I loaded up today, it was the first time I played in like about a week or so, and I had all the characters. Every character was unlocked for me, so I was like, all right, cool. I can pick whoever I want now. I'm not limited to two options on each type of play. But I did notice there is an issue right now where I'm playing with you guys in crossplay because I play via Xboxes. I
You don't have
my
auto aim,
my aim
aim
assist is
assist.
turned off, and that's huge when it comes to console play because like we don't have that the type of aiming that you can have with a mouse, so it sucks. And then I hopped into a game just to check this out afterwards. With aim assist, I was like, "Oh, this is night and day difference. Like I'm hitting everybody. Like I feel like I'm actually hitting people now." It was crazy.
Yeah.
I dropped like 25 kills, had like 7,000,
Mhm.
8,000 damage as a support player, and still had like 5 or 6 or 3,000 or
Yeah.
4,000 healing. I was like, this is insane. Like night and day difference.
Yeah, we actually had a meme. I'm just gonna drop this one. Somebody's talking to me after you left, and they're like, "Man, dude, his name's Mr. Never Chillin', but after that game, it's more like Mr. Never Killin'."
Yeah, right.
I'm like, "Damn,
Mic drop.
savage." But shout out to Mr. Muffins here, the Muffins. Yeah, no, he's definitely not gonna be taken out of the game when we talk about Bastion here. Yes, he was OP before his rework and also after his rework, he's very good. But the problem is he's not in the game, period, right now. So
Right.
like he's not being removed from the game, but they may rework him yet again because they've completely removed him for now.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see his rework. Obviously, he's one of my go-tos, and I actually want to check him out with aim assist because I might actually be good with him, legitly with him.
Oh yeah, dude. Honestly, you just need to get off the Xbox and come play on PC with us. It's
I
it's
I gotta get a
honestly
hard
night and
drive.
day difference.
I was looking at it, but
Yeah.
I don't have enough space on my hard drive to download Overwatch 2.
Okay, sounds like you're gonna have to uninstall some games, that's
I have
all.
one game installed. I have Valorant.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Sure, sure you do.
Everything else is all my videos from podcasts and gaming and stuff like that.
Delete some videos is all I'm saying here. But yeah, no, definitely. The game is night and day different with the aim assist because like it's silly. It's silly useful. Because
Yeah,
controller at the end of the day is nothing like a mouse and keyboard. But that's always the fact we've known for years.
yeah. It all comes
All
down to
right.
preference.
So let's move on to our last three gaming topics here. So I'll cover the first one. We've got D&D. So the Dark Alliance developer Torque Games has now changed their names to Invoke Studios. So they designated as a AAA D&D game studio, and they'll be using Unreal Engine 5 now for any future games they make. Hopefully, they can figure out how to make a game because the last one wasn't really that good.
No, not
For
at all.
them to be AAA, it didn't feel like it.
Right. Well, now they're being designated as a AAA game studio. So before they were more like a double A
Yeah,
kind of
but
studio.
like for them to flop and then be like, now we're moving up. It's like some dude missing every hit and not getting a single home run, and then being like, come up to the MLB, bro. Come
Yeah.
on, you're so good. Like,
Nah,
it just
I get
feels
it.
kind of silly.
No, but I think what's happening is here is like now that the fact that they're going to be designated as a legit AAA studio, now they're going to get the resources and the backing behind it, and we all know how powerful the Unreal Engine 5 is. So that engine alone is going to be better than whatever engine they were using beforehand. So I'm really
As
excited.
long as they
Hopefully,
can use it,
right. Hopefully they get some help in learning the understanding of Unreal Engine because it's a very useful, very powerful engine, and maybe we'll finally get some good Dungeons and Dragons game. Hopefully.
maybe. All right, Vic, tell us about Saints Row and FIFA.
Yeah, not much to go on here with Saints Row because, boy, what a rough launch that game had. There was so much hype, so much anticipation just for it to flop out of the water. And but
Dude,
I didn't even get to
that
check it out
game.
yet. And because of how bad it released, I was like, I'm just not going to play it right now.
Your
I'm going to
boy
wait.
watched a dude try to hijack a motorcycle, and then he stood next to the motorcycle, and it just like he stood there like this, and the motorcycle drove forward, and he's like, "What happens if I drive myself into a wall?" So his character hits the wall, and the motorcycle goes, and then he gets flying, and it's like, wow. So like the character was actually there. It wasn't just like rendering problem. The collision mapping got this way,
That's crazy. But
dude.
what's happening though is that they're getting their first major update coming out next month in November, and it's fixing over 200 bugs that are going on. But Roger, what can save this game? Can this have a redemption arc at this point?
This game, like honestly, to me, it felt like this game launched, question mark. Did this game actually exist? I think at this point we need a re-release. We need something to bring the community back in. Look what happened with Cyberpunk, okay?
Mhm.
We have Cyberpunk the second coming right now. It is like the second coming of Christ for a video game, dude.
Yeah.
Like everyone showed up and they're all like, "The Messiah is here." After Edge Runners, do we need some sort of extended content to really bring people in? If they could somehow get a collaboration, get something going that puts them back at the forefront of media, gamers will bite. They'll join, they'll
Mhm.
play, they'll download, they'll buy the game.
Yeah. And I think what needs to also happen is like whatever planned DLC they have with this has to be free. Has to be free. You cannot have a game
Has
that
to be big.
it has to be big. It has to be free because there's no way that you release a game with so many issues and then expect a community to want to come back to your game, but then have to pay for that big expansion. There's no way. They
Exactly.
have to make this stuff free, or at least give some kind of meaningful content. Look at Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk gave you the Edge Runners update, the Edge Runners content that brought everybody coming back
Well,
because they
but
had
it
that
was a
tie-in.
collab.
Yeah, it was a tie-in
And
to
the
that.
collab was so good, dude. Like honestly, even like as a non-anime fan, you should check it out because it was genuinely heart-wrenchingly good. And I sat there going, man, I really want to fucking play Cyberpunk again, dude.
I've been
I'm
thinking about it.
so excited for the next DLC now because of that.
Yeah, I'm actually been thinking about just checking out the Edge Runners content that they have already added, just to see.
Mhm.
But it's just like in the same
Well,
breath, I just want to wait until Phantom Liberty comes out so I can check all
yeah,
of it out at one time.
and they also have a full comic series now, two of them, two
Yeah,
comic
I
runs,
have the
as
first one.
well as yeah, I do too. I have the full run of the first one, and I'm starting the second one. And honestly, it's that's what we need. We need some tie-ins, something to breathe life into this game.
Yeah, but to circle back to Saints Row, that's exactly what we need. We need something that's going to add to it and make people want to come back to this game because it was supposed to be a GTA competitor. At right now, it's not even a competitor to any game on the
Honestly,
market.
it flopped so hard, and I felt like this was gonna happen. We kind of knew this was gonna happen because Saints Row kind of has been slipping the past two games
Yeah,
before this one,
yeah, you're
you
not
know?
lying there. But to round out our gaming news of the week, FIFA 23 just recently came out and it broke records. It's obviously one of the biggest games in all of history, like video game sports games. It broke with 10.3 million players in the first week, and in comparison, FIFA 22 had the record last year with 9.1 in the same window, so an
It's
increase
insane. I'm
1.2
sorry to
million.
cut you off, but what the fuck, dude? It is the same game as last year.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't get it.
what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. I just know FIFA is just that big. But we also gotta understand that next year's game is not going to be called FIFA. Just to reiterate that to people, it is going to be called EA Sports FC 24. And will this game break the record again if it's following this upwards
Honestly,
trend?
I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I just don't know how people can continue to buy the same FIFA game every year.
Right. I mean, you can't really see it behind me, but I have had 2K14 up to 2K21, I think, or 22. It's the same game every year, maybe some slight changes here and there. Madden, same thing. Slight changes here and there. But it's the same fucking game. They really just need to
Yeah.
make one sports game and just update it.
Honestly, just treat it like an MMO. Treat it like freaking WoW, dude. Just they could make a game as a service and make so much money. Just like because they already have the fucking microtransactions. How can you sell me a fucking game at full next gen price and then bend me over the table for more fucking content, dude?
It's
You
rough.
talk about grinding your fucking basketball player
Yeah,
in
2K.
and like
Yeah.
or I could just buy my guy, literally just roid him out
Yeah. Well, and
with
it's
my
crazy.
wallet.
I'm surprised even 2K does this, but they put a cap on how much you can buy up to, because your player starts off at a 60 overall, and you can buy him up to an 85 overall, and then 85 to 99 you have to grind yourself. And I'm surprised they even make you do that. I'm surprised they don't just open the market and be like, hey, you want to buy a 99 player overall? Here, go buy it, $200 or whatever. It's just some stupid price that they would put on it.
Yeah,
Because they know
no, I
people
can
would buy
respect
like
that.
multiple 99 player overalls. Because people like to have different builds and different type of players on the court. So I'm pretty sure people would spend thousands of dollars if they can just buy a 99 every single time.
Mhm.
Stupid.
Just so they can dunk on people. It's like people who, but hack in freaking Valorant or on COD. It's just these people at the end of the day, they're like, I like to watch the world burn.
All right, man. Enough news. We're gonna end the night here with some gaming rumors. I'll start it off here first with Xbox related rumor. There was a possible streaming console leak due to Phil Spencer's console, or it like shelfie is what we're gonna call it here. And I'm just gonna see if I can
That's
get it
what it
up here.
is.
But some people are thinking that this might be an old prototype for the Series S.
Well, not that people are thinking that. Xbox said that this was an old prototype. The Xbox Twitter posted back to Phil Spencer saying, "Hey, Phil, you got an old prototype on your shelf and you're making people think this."
Yeah, I'm
So,
trying to get the image up here so y'all can see
but
it. But
but he was
sorry about that,
my
guys.
man
We had
is
some
the myth, the
technical
legend.
difficulties.
But as you were saying here, we had the possible streaming console leak, right?
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see if that is what's coming out soon. Maybe they'll announce it at the Game Awards, which is in 2 months here. So nonetheless, but Roger, what else is going on in the gaming rumors? There's one more.
The last gaming rumor we have this week is supposedly we might be getting new content for Elden Ring. A new update references two new locations or maps, and a ray tracing feature has been added. Are these two new maps a possible DLC expansion for Elden Ring? Who knows? We're kind of on the fence right here, waiting to see. But
hmm
be on the lookout. You may be finding that we're gonna get new Elden Ring content soon.
And I think this is another thing that could be announced at the Game Awards. I think that would be an ideal location. What's your thoughts?
Honestly, after they win the Game Awards this year, just saying, when they walk off with one of the Game Award trophies,
Yeah.
they're gonna go, "Oh,
By the
also
way,
new DLC coming next
trailer,
month."
check it out right now.
Yeah,
Boom.
just like, thanks for the trophy. Here's the next DLC for next year. We're ready for Game Awards 2023.
That's going to be crazy. But that's all the rumors we got this week. Definitely want to thank all our audience that checked us out live. Sorry for the technical difficulties we had there, and anyone who checks us out later on YouTube. But Roger, where can we find you at?
You can find me at twitch.tv/lunatic_oblivion, and you can find me on Twitter at lunatic_oblivion. Uh, it's down below. And for Twitter, just remove the hyphen or the underscore.
Yes, sir. And of course, everyone, you can check me out at Twitter at Mr. Never or X Never Space Chillin', and then Xbox is also X Never Space Chillin', and then Facebook is Vic Brubacher. Questions, concerns, you want to come on the show. My Twitch is twitch.tv/ Mr. Never Chillin'. That's where I'll be streaming Scorn, my finish up of that, and also finishing out Metal Hellsinger and any future games I got going on there. But we want to thank everyone again. But until next time, peace.